Welcome back, everybody. It's been a long time since we've done an episode of Turf Talk. My goodness, Scott, technology is great when it works, but when it's not working, it is a struggle. But I'm glad we got this fixed up. We're live here on Twitter. We're also live through DSM Media's YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch accounts as well. So if you're new to the channel, please tap in on Twitter at DSM_media or hit that subscribe button on our YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, IG, wherever you are. We're on every social media platform. I am one half of your host, Dylan Davis. You can give me a follow on Twitter at DylanJD98. And as always, my co-host to my right, Scotty. Give him a follow on Twitter at Scotty Drowned. And of course, DSM Media is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped is the best in men's below the waist grooming, and they offer precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code DSM at manscaped.com. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. This upgraded trimmer includes a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock. It also gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. And did I mention the wireless charging? The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Get 20% off and free shipping with our promo code DSM at manscaped.com. Again, that is 20% off with free worldwide shipping at manscaped.com using our code DSM. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. What's going on, Scott? How are we feeling? We're back up and running here on Twitter. Everything's going well so far. Guys, of course, we're sorry. Not everything's perfect. We can't see your comments on StreamYard through Twitter. So if you want your comments to be posted on the screen, tap in our Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch channels. But I have the Twitter up next to me, and I'll see your comments come through, and we'll get to as many as we can. But we got a pretty busy show today, Scott.
Yeah, man, it's a big day. We got a lot of plans for this show, but yeah, just to follow up on what you're saying, man, I was about to pull my hair out with that situation. We have such like a great community on Twitter, so it's very annoying that StreamYard hasn't gotten this fixed yet, and that we are experiencing more problems. Right, like that wasn't even normal for the video to not be streaming within the tweet, so that was just a little weird in itself, but. Big Eagles game day, right? We got the Kansas City Chiefs coming in, Andy Reid coming back home. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what the Birds got if they can show some growth and development this week. But yeah, let's get into it, man.
Yeah, dude. So let's start right there with our Eagles versus Chiefs pregame show, our preview of this game. Uh, I don't know what that means, but I read it wrong. Now I got it. All right. But yeah, let's start right there with the Chiefs versus Eagles, Scott. Couple keys to victory. We'll try to go through. Maybe this time Nick Sirianni and the Eagles will actually implement some of them in the game plan and not do the polar opposite in a blowout loss. But what do you got as far as keys to victory? Any matchups you're looking for today? Any specifics?
Yeah. So you kind of hit it on the head there. With the whole, if they're going to take what we say and actually use it today. For me, it's once again the run game. You have to go into this game, and so when I'm talking about matchups, I'm looking at Nick Sirianni versus Andy Reid. Andy Reid's defense is beat up, and quite frankly, when they're not beat up, they're still not that good. You do look at guys like Tyrann Mathieu in the secondary, who's a ball hawk. If you're out there tossing the ball around ridiculous amount of times, you're going to have turnovers. He's a guy that can make a lot of plays back there in that secondary, and they have some other guys there, but the run defense is what lacks. Let the offensive line get comfortable, run the ball down their throats, give Miles Sanders, make up for the carries that you didn't give him last week, give him the multitude of carries today, 20-plus carries I would love to see for Miles Sanders. Maybe they feel no shot, right? But maybe they feel that's obvious and they're going to outsmart themselves again. It seems to be what Nick Sirianni has been doing is kind of outsmarting himself. Like, oh, they're going to expect this, so I'm going to do this. It's not. It doesn't have to be that complex when you're trying to build an identity. You have to keep the offense balanced. You have to keep the defense off balance. Cowboys defense knew what we were doing before we would even hike the football last week, and that includes on defense as well. But we haven't even gotten there yet. But you got to be unpredictable as an offense, and dropping back and passing every single time is not unpredictable. I love the weapons we have on the outside. I get the incline to want to get them involved as much as you can, but you do have to trust your run game. You have to trust the offensive line. You have to trust Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, whoever you want to throw in the backfield there today. And the thing about the run game is if you don't run the football with the running back, then the running game with Jalen Hurts, he's not going to be able to use his legs as effectively.
Well, the RPOs are pointless.
It's pointless. If it's not getting handed off to the running back.
Or the read options, I should say, are also pointless too.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But I'll throw it to you. Which one of your key matchups or one of your keys to victory today?
I'm just going to piggyback off of you. I think that's it's the clear number one, right? Especially coming off of Monday night's performance and the 3 running plays to run to in the hands of running backs. So everyone's talking about it, but it's the truth. I got my Miles Sanders jersey on today as like a cry for help. Like, Nick, run the damn ball and run the ball in this man's hands. Like, he's your best offensive skill position player. Why are you not getting him the ball? 3 carries is inexcusable, right?
Totally agree.
I get what you're saying. All right, like everyone's saying the Eagles got to run the ball. So the Chiefs are going to be ready for the run, right? But the Chiefs are coming into this game 1-2. And a large reason for that is that teams are finding ways to gash them on the ground. I mean, for God's sake, Lamar Jackson and the third string running back for the Baltimore Ravens gashed them for over 250 rushing yards. They're the worst run defense in football, I believe. Frank Clark's out today. Establish the run. Find a way. It's not just for the fact that you need to throw different looks at them. It'll help your overall game out, but it's not just, get Miles Sanders the ball.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you're keeping Patrick Mahomes off the field longer, right? You are down 3 starting offensive linemen already. I saw you put out a tweet. We talked about this before. Run blocking is easier than going backwards in pass protection for these young guys, right? Now, obviously, there's different. You might have to thin up the playbook when it comes to some of these run calls and stuff like that, but run blocking is less difficult than pass protection for these young guys. So it will open up everything. It'll open up those read options, those RPOs for Jalen Hurts. It'll open up the pass game, the play action. Everything will feed off of the run. I don't understand what last week's performance or game plan was. You have to establish it and establish it early. I think that's the biggest thing today.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And, it's kind of like you said, we can't sit here and outsmart ourselves if you're Nick Sirianni. And the other thing, you mentioned the Ravens. This is like a topic for another day, but I feel like the Eagles offense should be modeled a little more closely to the Ravens. Not as much design QB runs, I would say. A little bit more options to give the ball to the running back. But as far as just relying heavily on the run, I think that's what our team should be. And I think we would find the most success with that, regardless if Jalen Hurts is the guy. That's another conversation that we don't even need to get into right now. But he's going to be better with a successful run game. Every quarterback is. Like, it's very simple. He is a rookie quarterback. You're putting a ton of weight on his shoulders. But I just wanted to get to and you talk about Kansas City. So I think this is a good point that Jason brings up here. About KC finally having, like a terrible defense. They've had average defenses in previous seasons. I believe the year they won the Super Bowl, their defense was pretty good. But, you're looking at this KC team, and maybe it's not today. Maybe most likely they will come out and beat the Eagles. Like, I'm not going to sit here and predict the Eagles to beat the Chiefs today, but maybe the Chiefs just aren't that good this year, right? Like, you never know when they're going to look average. And, Patrick Mahomes he's still playing very good. Like, he has 940 yards, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's still putting up great stats. their defense is just terrible. They're giving up close to 32 points a game this season, just in 3 games. That's crazy. And you're looking at, they played the Browns, the Ravens, Chargers, 3 good teams, right? But you shouldn't be giving up 32 points a game to these teams, to any teams, if you're going to be a contender. And so as far as the Chiefs side, I think that's something to worry about for them. And then you mentioned the jerseys situation. So I did want to comment on why I did wear the Kelly green today. Because I was going back, and it just looks like we have so many like ties to Kansas City, like all the way from Dick Vermeil, Mark McMillan, who I follow on Twitter. He's an Eagles fan, a former Eagles and Chiefs player that really lets his mind be known on Twitter. And then even you go into Andy Reid, you got Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce. So I decided to bring the Kelly green back today just for historic reasons. Maybe we can get a W off some good juju, but no, I'm with you. It's very simple. They have one of the worst, if not the worst, rushing defenses in the league. You have an offensive line. I know that they're beat up right now. Andre Dillard played well last week. You'll have supposedly Jack Driscoll jumping into the lineup for Herbig. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I thought Herbig was solid last year at times, especially running the football. But Jack Driscoll was pretty good as well, just from what I saw last year. He just can't seem to stay healthy. But either way, you got to take some weight off the offensive line shoulders and just run straight forward, run block. It's very simple. You know what I mean? So just want to shout out some of the people commenting on here. We got Take It to the Hizzy. Happy Sunday, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Take It to the Hizzy. That's part of our Twitter community there, helping us out on YouTube. And then, of course, Jason Voorhees always checking in. What's up, fellas? The Chiefs' defense is not good at all. I'm looking at a shootout today. I'm not going to go all homerish and pick the Eagles to win. However, I do see an improved performance. That's what we're looking for in this game, right? We just want something. We want it to look better. Like,
right.
You're looking at a Chiefs team, as we mentioned. They have a terrible defense. He says it's going to be a shootout. I think you can't play it like a shootout. I think the Eagles, if they really want to try to win the game, you do have to control time of possession, and maybe that's something we can digress on. But controlling time of possession and keeping the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands is part of the game plan for me today.
For sure, and that's where the run game becomes so important. Another battle you have to win within the war today is the turnover battle. It's something you haven't won. In any week, I don't think. Maybe, well, no, week 1, that's not true. But you get my point. They haven't been successful and have won the turnover battle. For some reason, like you alluded to it, he's still got good numbers, but Patrick Mahomes already has 3 interceptions through 3 weeks. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, all those crazy no-look passes, the getting sacked and trying to flip the ball, all that stuff isn't working early on in this year. Don't get me wrong. The one Tyreek Hill bomb against the Chiefs, against the Browns, are still happening. But he's turning the ball over. The running backs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, has already fumbled 2 or 3 times this year. They're putting the ball on the ground. They're turning the ball over. Get this offense a short field today. Make life a little bit more easy for them. There's been 2 common denominators in the Chiefs' losses. They're turning the ball over.
Yeah.
And they're giving up a shit ton of points, and obviously yardage on the ground. So I think there's nothing crazy that has to go on today, right? Do I think the Eagles are going to win? I'm going to let you know right now. No, I don't, because I don't think they're going to be effective in the areas we're talking about. Yeah. But turn the Chiefs over and run the dang ball, and I think you'll have some sort of success today. And Jason, I know you're feeling a shootout, and that could be the case. I don't see how that favors the Eagles. You're not going to outshoot the Chiefs. It's just not going to happen. So we will see. Obviously, your 1 point is spot on, though. All we're looking for is improvement from week to week. And I guess one thing I'll say is, if we thought from week 2 to week 3 was important, how Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts would bounce back, how would they look after a down performance to the Niners? You better believe from week 3 to week 4 is huge. It's going to be very telling of who they are as play callers and a quarterback, what their characters like. We hear all about this leadership factor when it comes to these guys, and especially Jalen Hurts. Well, you lead on the field. You lead with your play first. And if, after a down performance, you have a worse performance, and after the worst performance, you have another bad performance, you're going to start to lose a little bit of trust in these guys. Now, no, I'm not saying within 4 weeks, Jalen Hurts or Nick Sirianni is losing the locker room or anything. But if that starts to build up and become a common thing, yeah, it's very telling of who you're going to be. So just growth, run the ball, and turn the Chiefs over. I think it's pretty simple today.
Yeah, and I think, you hit something right on the head there, and we've been talking about it this whole time, just keeping it simple. When you've seen the worst happen, what happened on Monday Night Football, where Nick Sirianni looked lost, Jalen Hurts looked lost. We talked about Ben Simmons in the playoffs, right? Looking like a deer in headlights. That's exactly what Jalen Hurts looked like on Monday Night Football. And you got to bounce back from that by doing simple things, doing things you're comfortable doing, putting Jalen Hurts in comfortable situations. Get started off the game. We don't need to go deep balls to Jalen Reagor. Like, we don't need to do that. Let's get some simple, across the field, short mesh routes, stuff like that, out routes, screen game, like Jason said there, and get these players involved in a rhythm. Get Jalen Hurts in a rhythm as well when you are passing the ball. But once again, first down, run the football. Put your offense in better situations instead of going into second down, 2nd and 10, or second and 3,
everything,
13 after a sack. Run the football. Get 3 yards. 2nd and 7 is better than 2nd and 10. I mean, it's very simple, like you said.
It's something I saw all too often with Doug Peterson, and I've seen Nick do it early in his tenure now too, is when it gets to 2nd and long, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9, right? Stay away from the run then. Like, that's my point. It's not just the lack of runs. It's like the timing of them too. You first down, you throw the ball incompletion, or you pick up a yard or 2 yards or whatever. Don't then turn around and run the ball straight into the line of scrimmage, and now your offense is back there for a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 7. You want 3rd and manageable situations for this kid where he can either boom, quick hitters to these speed guys or the tight ends, or use his legs, because he can get out of the pocket and pick up 3 to 4 yards with his legs if need be, right? Stay out of 3rd and longs. I guess that's another thing I'm looking for today. I don't want to see 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, him having to force the ball down the field. Now, I will touch on one comment you made about not, we don't need to see a deep ball early. And you're right. But what I would do if I was him is I'd pound the rock down their throat a couple plays in a row. Now, I'm not, if it's not successful, then your script, you got to go off script, right? But my script today, if I'm, obviously you hear about how coaches, script the first 10 to 15 plays on offense or whatever, right? And coming out at halftime. If I'm him, I'm run. Like, if it's successful, right? So if you pick up a first down, hopefully with the run, right? Boom. Play action, take a shot on first down. Run the ball a couple times, pick up a first down, play action, roll them out, take a shot early. That's what I would do. And I think if it hits, that's going to be great for their confidence. It's going to be, I think the crowd, you'll get the crowd into the game. And like I said, that the running game will open up all of it, because like I said, and here's another thing. Line the kid up under center sometimes. I don't think he lined up under center one time. So here, like, if I'm Nick Sirianni, right, the runs don't have to come from under center, but I'm going to run. I'm going to pick up a first down. This would be my script. I'm going to line him up under center, play action, boot to the right side of the field, boom, take a shot. If it's that, with his legs and his ability, you rolling him out, now he's got that dual option of, he can take off or he can dump it off or do whatever with the ball. So dude, it's really not that hard to me. Stay away from 3rd and long situations, run the football, and turn the Chiefs over. I really don't have any more than that.
I mean, it's all very obvious when you're playing a team as good as the Chiefs here, an offense as good as the Chiefs, I should say. Obviously, I had obvious keys. I mean, I don't know if the Eagles can even do them, but, contain Tyreek Hill, contain Travis Kelce, and make the other guys beat you. Make a Clyde Edwards-Helaire beat you. Make Mecole Hardman beat you. Pringle, the Robinson kid they had, Demarcus Robinson. Make those guys beat you. Don't let Tyreek Hill run down the field all over your defense. Don't let Travis Kelce, I feel like, is going to murder our defense.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you, but you got to try to contain those two and put the focus around them. But that's easier said than done. These are very obvious, though. We're talking about running the football against a bad run defense. I mean, but the thing about it is that they just didn't do it last week, and they didn't do it against San Fran, right? It's just odd, man. And I'm hoping, if this is coming down from Jeff Lurie, let Nick Sirianni figure this thing out. Get these guys an identity. Jason hit it right here with Miles Sanders. You want a big play so bad. You're having them throw it down the sidelines. Miles Sanders has broken off 70-plus yard runs, multiple of them last season. And you just got to trust Miles Sanders. I don't get where the distrust with Miles Sanders came from to run the football.
Especially under the new regime.
Yeah, he's had nothing but to – you know what I mean? He's shown nothing but good things. Even last week, you give him the ball. It was either his first or second carry. He only had 2. And he broke off a 24-yard run. That's a 20-plus yard play. We didn't have much of those last week.
No.
And for you to go away from that, it just doesn't make sense to me. We can sit here and beat a dead horse all day, but if they come out here and don't run the football game, it's going to be weird, man.
My fear is that he's not prepared and that he doesn't have an idea, right? And that he overthinks it and gets and doesn't know what to do. I literally texted you week 2 against the Niners. Sanders, 2-3 runs in a row, picks up 2 first downs, and then he takes him out and brings in Gainwell. Why? Then the next week you don't involve him at all. You mentioned it. I think he had 2 carries and he averaged almost 14 or 15 yards per carry. There's like a lack of, I don't know, preparation. Obviously, we've seen throughout the whole team so far, but like there's a lack in his mind of understanding the game. Like, reading the room, right? If something's working, I'm not saying you're going to do it, but do it till they stop it. Do it till they prove they can stop it consistently. Yeah, I think it's a clear indictment on Nick's lack of preparedness. It's true. It's I don't know. It's something with his game plans, dude, that I'm not loving so far. It's if plan A ain't working, I don't know what he's got for plan B or C, or if he has a plan B and C.
Yeah.
That's what scares me the most about him.
That's been the problem so far. So I guess what I would ask you, we talked a lot about the running game. Who are some guys in the passing game that you expect to get involved on the Eagles offense today? Devontae Smith's had a quiet 2 weeks. He's still getting a multitude of targets. He's not getting very much chance, right? I don't know if that's more on Jalen Hurts. I was watching some play breakdowns. Devontae Smith gets open. That's needless to say. He gets open. He's getting missed on a lot of targets that he should be getting. He still, I believe, is getting the most targets on the team, if I'm not correct. Yeah, 21 targets on the season. So he's getting the most targets on the team, but I think that should be increased even more. The thing is, you got to keep your offense on the field, right? You got to get first downs. Who are you looking at on the offense today to really get involved, kind of make that difference in keeping this a competitive game?
Well, obviously, I would love nothing more than to see that kid, have a breakout game, right? Like he's looked good. He had a touchdown in week 1. His route running looks good. Like you said, Hurts is just missing him and not going through his reads, right? And not seeing him. But he hasn't had that breakout game yet, right? He hasn't done anything too big. So obviously I'm looking for him today. Quez Watkins is another name. Obviously I believe it was Brian Baldinger that put out the tweet or the breakdown suggesting that Quez Watkins is or has been the best receiver on this Eagles team so far. And I'm not saying that's incorrect. But has Quez Watkins had more than 2 catches in a game yet? So it's like that's a really low bar, right? But Quez has done some things that no other receiver on this team has done. You saw the contested catch that he came back for over the defender last week in Dallas on the 3rd and long play. You saw obviously his speed with the 91-yard bomb against the Niners. You see how they utilize him in the screen game. I would look to try to get Quez more involved because he probably has. I wouldn't say he's been the best receiver, but I think he's shown things that the other guys haven't done so far. So I would look to get Quez Watkins involved. And then obviously Dallas Goedert, like the tight ends in general.
Yeah.
But Goddard with his size and speed and pass catching ability, dude, attack the middle of the field and stop going away from it. Like Dallas Goedert, again, I think only had, how many catches did he have against Dallas, Scott? Like 2 or 3?
2 or 3, yeah.
And it's like on every catch, it was a chunk play. On the missed throw, he was wide open. He's finding open grass.
Yeah.
He's getting open. Just put the ball on him, get him involved. They don't have an answer for that big dude. All right, you want to take him away? Well, here's Zach, right? Like, so I think that you have to make it a point to try to get the ball to these guys. And I'm not saying force it, because you mentioned, like, there's been some throws to Devontae Smith where he's just not open.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really have a chance on the ball. I'm not saying force feed the guys when it's not there, but make it a point to draw something up for Dallas Goedert here and there. Make it a point to get the ball to Quez Watkins' hands in the open space. Yeah, man. Jason's talking about our schedule, and I think one issue with it coming up was obviously this open stretch is a gauntlet, right? Well, I said that before the season started. San Fran, Dallas, Chiefs, Carolina, Tampa, right? Chargers. Something we didn't expect though is for Jason, your Raiders to look as good as they do. We didn't expect the Broncos to look as good as they do right now in that defense. So I think
Chargers,
that's added on to the tough schedule. That part of the schedule wasn't supposed to be so tough, and now those teams are looking better than expected.
Yeah, and you mentioned even the Chargers. Like the Chargers coming into the season, I knew they were going to be a good team.
Right, but
that's looking like
a game.
That's looking like a definite loss at this point. Going against the Chargers. Obviously, the Eagles can improve, but it has turned into a gauntlet. Right? It wasn't looking like that at the beginning of the season. Even the Detroit Lions have played teams tough this season. So that's not going to be some, the Eagles, this is a lockdown win. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like that the rest of the season, except for maybe against teams like the Jets, but maybe we'll hit an all-time low. I don't know at that point. But did you have anything else you wanted to get into with this game before we move on to the rest of the NFL aside from predictions? I just had a few game notes just regarding.
Yeah, man, shoot them my way.
Just, as far as the Chiefs, we've talked about them a little bit here, but they are 1-2. They're sitting at the bottom of the AFC West. As Jason Thomas mentioned earlier there in his comments, the Raiders are 3-0. The Broncos are 3-0. Chargers are 2-1. Chiefs need to win some games. The thing to keep in mind about this game is, okay, the Eagles, whatever happens today, the Chiefs really can't afford to lose this game. They go and play the Buffalo Bills next week. So you lose this game, you're going to end up 1-3 and then 1-4 as the Chiefs, and all of a sudden you're in a big hole in that AFC West that is looking really good this season. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here as we both have mentioned throughout this show so far. We're not picking the Eagles today, but I would just hit home right on our notes there. Run the football, keep it simple, and take care of your defense. Right, keep them off the field as much as we can today. And the only way you can do that is by simply running the ball more than you're passing the ball.
Something we haven't mentioned, Rodney McLeod's back today.
Yes, very good point.
That is big for sure, especially with Kayvon Wallace going down, which that room was slim. So now that your secondary involves Slay, Nelson, Harris, McLeod, obviously the loss of BG is huge, not just for the production, but the person and the leader that he is. But Javon Hargrave's having a career year. Fletcher Cox looked really good on Monday night.
Yeah.
We're all expecting Josh Sweat, who just got paid to step up. Derek Barnett, I hope doesn't see a snap, but obviously he's probably going to start. But and Ryan Kerrigan's been disappointing so far, dude. Like,
yeah, for sure.
His name hasn't been called, Scott. He hasn't had a tackle. He hasn't been in on an assist. He hasn't had a quarterback hit. Nothing. Like, dude, I don't know. That was a signing I was extremely happy about, and it just hasn't produced so far. But yeah, like you said, you want to keep your defense off the field as much as possible. And if they have to, my God, if you thought Dallas's offense looked good last week because we had to be on the field over and over again, I don't even want to know what Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and Tyreek Hill are going to do to this team. But one thing that you said earlier that I'll just finish up on is, make someone else beat you. It's what the Baltimore Ravens did right now. No, the Eagles have zero shot at holding Tyreek Hill to like 2 catches for 17 yards or whatever that performance was. But I would double Tyreek Hill on every play.
Yeah.
Now it's okay. Well, what do you do with Kelsey? Well, you're right. Kelsey's probably going to whoop our ass today.
Yeah.
But Kelsey had like a 50-yard touchdown against the Ravens. Kelsey was productive against the Ravens. Tyreek Hill's big play threat is what really kills teams.
You. Yeah.
So make, like you said, Pringle. Make Mecole Hardman. Make Demarcus Robinson beat you. And if that's the case, well, that's the case, dude. But
yeah,
I'm with you.
One comment on just what you said. I totally agree. Chiefs have better offense. One thing they can't do that Dallas can do is run the football. And you look at guys like Zeke and Tony Pollard, who were like gashing us for 5-6 yards a carry. It felt like 8 or 9 yards a carry. I believe they were both sitting at about 5.5, 6.5 yards. But they're not running the football. They don't have any back that is big or as physical as Zeke. But at the same time, we cannot just sit here and treat Clyde Edwards-Helaire as some joke. He is a pretty talented back, just in other facets of the game. But they should not be able to run the football like the Cowboys did, and that's what ultimately killed our defense.
Dude, here's another thing: Clyde Edwards-Helaire is putting the ball on the ground a lot. When you get a chance, go for the ball. Make a play on the ball when it's in the kid's hands. Don't just wrap up. Like I'm not saying don't make the tackle and try to force the ball out. But when do a little peanut punch, like do something to try to put the ball on the ground. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I don't know if you guys can hear it. My mom's like upstairs playing with not playing, but like is setting up Halloween decorations, and all I hear is like skeletons laughing and shit, and I'm like,
no, I can't hear it at all, man. My
girlfriend,
we got our
place
set up last night.
It sounds awful, but yeah, man, we can get to our predictions now. Yeah. I got Chiefs. Sorry. Welcome back, Andy Reid. I believe Andy Reid is going for some kind of history today. I think some kind of win today that I saw before the game started, but it'll happen. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. If the Chiefs were 3-0, I'd still be picking the Chiefs, but 1-2. Now you can make the argument that maybe they're not as good. Maybe their defense really is that bad. They're 1-2 for a reason. Now, I think Patrick Mahomes and this team is pissed off at their start. 4th place in the AFC West. I don't care how early in the year. I got Chiefs. Dude, I'm afraid it's not going to be pretty. I'm going to say Chiefs 34, Eagles 20-21. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. Maybe this is a little reverse psychology here, man, right? I picked them to win the first 3 weeks. It bit me in the ass 2 out of 3 weeks. Let's try something different. I just don't see a way that they're deep enough to win this game, that they're talented enough to beat the Chiefs.
Man, it's so hard for me because I do agree with you. I'll give you my score here in a second. It's very close to yours. In most seasons, man, as an Eagles fan growing up, I have we got a comment there.
I hope so, man.
Raiders fan rooting for us. So
I hope so.
I would hope, but yeah, man, it's tough because in previous seasons, in most of my life as an Eagles fan, right, I grew up in kind of a different era. I was kind of raised on the Donovan McNabb, the Brian Dawkins era, coming up through the 2000s there, and I've always been used to like convincing myself that there is a way we can win this game. Like if this and this happens, if we can do this, then this can happen. You know what I mean? And there's no way around it for me today. I feel like, if I was to pick the Eagles today, I'm being completely biased. I'm being a homer, like 200%, right? Like I was being a homer on Monday when I picked the Eagles to beat Dallas. Like let's be honest, but I'm going KC 31-21. I'm very close. 10-point spread there. They cover the spread, I believe, on the gambling world there. I don't see any way that they beat the Chiefs. Like you said, the Chiefs are going to be pissed off. And against a good team, maybe a pissed off Chiefs team this year doesn't really matter. Because I don't think they're as good as they've been in previous years. When you have a terrible defense like that, there's nothing that you can really do about it. And mind you, today they're without Frank Clark, Charvarius Ward, two keys in their defense there, in the edge rusher in the secondary with the DB. But there's no way around it. They, like I said, they have the Buffalo Bills next week, and the Buffalo Bills are one of those teams. They're a contender in the NFL. It doesn't matter if the Chiefs are pissed off next week against the Buffalo Bills. They still might lose anyways. So they need to get this W, and I think it'll tell a lot about the Chiefs more if they were to lose this game and what's going on this season than the Eagles, rather. If the Eagles were to win this game, I think it would say a lot more about the Chiefs. But, 31-21, I got the Chiefs today. Andy Reid's coming back to Philly. And kind of puts it on us. Maybe could put up a little bit more if we're not careful, if we're not doing what we said earlier. I think if we do what we said earlier, we can keep the score to this. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm insinuating here is if we run the ball, if we control time of possession, we can hold them to 31-21.
Listen, I was just on my phone. I was looking it up because you had said something. You were used to that era and finding ways to win and everything. And I'll even
last season, man.
I'll take you back. I just looked it up because I remember there was a Colts game when Peyton Manning came to town, and it was like, there's no way they can win this game. And they beat the Colts. I think it just said 26-24, the Michael Vick game. They do, again, different team, different regime. It's just like it's in their history to find ways to
remember that game, man.
Remember, what was it? The game in Foxborough when Malcolm Jenkins
I was going to bring that one up against.
They won that game, correct?
Yeah, they won that game.
They had the block punt for a touchdown, and
that's what it would take today. Special teams, right. A defensive touchdown, that type of thing would have to happen for us to beat the Chiefs.
I'm with you, but I hope I'm wrong. I like to be wrong in these cases, but I just don't see them coming away with a win today. I really don't. But yeah. We'll see. And my last thing to wrap up this segment of the Eagles Chiefs is, like I said when we started this talk, it's very telling of Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. No, not to win the game. No one really, I don't think in Philadelphia expects you to win this game, right? But the offense has to look good. The offense has to look like it improved. He's got to look like he learned from his game plan and his play calls last week. Jalen Hurts has to look better. Maybe not turn the ball over, improve the accuracy, like just growth. If the offense can't move the ball or score against this Chiefs defense, like they just couldn't score against that Cowboys defense, it's a problem. Yeah. So it's going to be very telling of them as players and a coach. It's very telling of their characters as well on how they can bounce back. You wanted to use that line last week. Flush, you take a douche. You don't stare at it. You flush. All right. Well, you better have flushed out Monday night. Okay.
No, but just as far as a W for today would just be Sirianni understanding what happened last week and just simply, get in Miles Sanders. I know I said 20 plus carries. That's unrealistic. 15 plus carries today. Get the total running back group 20 to 25 plus carries in this game. That enough right there for Nick Sirianni is a growth for me. That's a development. That's him understanding what he needs to do. So I'm with you. I'm looking for the little wins in today's game.
Well, it's just that's how you're going to have a chance to beat the Chiefs. You don't drop Jalen Hurts back there 48 times, 50 plus times, and expect to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Now, what I will say, it's very telling of his game plan to not having, a backup. He's like, I got to run the ball. I got to run the ball. And the run literally is just not there. And then he just keeps doing it. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens today. But let's move on. Let's get to our games of the week. Wrap up with some pigskin picks. Real quick, we could talk about that Thursday night game. Joe Burrow is the man. I love Joe. I love Joe Burrow. Another good Thursday night game. I mean, two teams, a game that we didn't think was going to be good. It comes down to a last-second field goal. They put points. They found ways to move the ball and score. It wasn't like a slow, sloppy, ugly game. So you know what?
The Eagles have had the worst. The Eagles have had the worst primetime football game this season. They've been on the losing end of the worst game on primetime this season. That's
Probably for sure. I mean, the Panthers Texans game was pretty rough.
It was,
but
Davis Mills.
but we were rough. But all right, dude, let me get your game of the week outside of this Eagles Chiefs matchup. What do you got?
So, game of the week. I tried to go out of the box here. I know there's an obvious one here, which I hope that you took it, because I went away from it just hoping that you would.
I got two written down just to see if you have one of them.
Okay, I got you. So what I actually went with this week is the Chargers versus Raiders on Monday Night Football. I was considering the Seahawks and 49ers. I believe they play. Yeah, that's another good one for today. But Chargers versus Raiders. You're looking at the Raiders 3-0. Chargers are 2-1. Chargers are favored by 3 in this game. It's an AFC West showdown. Monday Night Football. Which, by the way, part of our Twitter community there on Twitter, one of my good buddies who I met through Sage had Louis Riddick on his podcast yesterday, actually, and he covers the Raiders. It was a Raiders-centric podcast, but that was awesome. So shout out to Phil Jones there. Derek Carr leads the NFL in passing yards. Justin Herbert right now is 4th in the NFL in passing yards. So you're talking about 2 quarterbacks that are playing at an elite level right now. It should make for a great game on Monday Night Football, quite honestly. The Raiders and the Ravens were a great game. I believe that was week 1. Was that Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football?
That was Monday Night Football.
Okay, yeah. So they gave us a great one in week 1. I expect this one to be no different. The only thing that I'm going to say about this game as far as the matchup and who I think is going to win, I think both of these offenses are really good right now. Derek Carr is in a groove that, quite honestly, is unmatched right now, right? Like he's leading the NFL in passing yards right now. Chargers have a pretty good defense. Yeah. That's the only thing that I'm worried about in this game. I think that's why the Chargers probably are favored in this game. If I had to pick a winner, I hate to go against my man Jason Thomas here supporting us. I do think the Chargers will get this W. I don't think it's going to be an indictment on the Raiders or what they're doing this season. I think it's going to be a close game. I just think that it's going to come down to a few plays made on the defensive side. So if the Raiders' defensive line can get after Justin Herbert and make those plays, that'll be interesting when you're talking about Ngakoue and Wolf. If they can make some plays in there on that defensive line, create some turnovers potentially, that could definitely swing the game. But I'm looking at guys like Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr. that has 2 interceptions already in this season, and the guys over there in LA with the Chargers. That defense is really good. They do have the Bosa brother there as well, who's a really good pass rusher. It's going to be a good game, though. That's why it's my game of the week. Monday Night Football. It should be pleasing to the eyes, and it's great to see the Raiders back, right? Like you're hoping that they stick with it throughout this season, that they can stay at the top of that AFC West. Winning this game would be a great sign towards doing that a week after the Chargers beat the Chiefs.
That new stadium too, dude. Well, both of them.
Oh
I believe it's in SoFi. SoFi is ridiculous, but that Raiders stadium there's a freaking club behind the end zone, dude.
They got like a VIP
section. It's bottle service with a DJ and shit. Like, what is happening?
It's so Vegas, though. I love it.
Yeah, Vegas over the top, bro. But it is nuts.
I would love to go there, man. The tickets for the Eagles Raiders. Oh my God, through the roof. But rightfully so. That stadium is awesome. Vegas is awesome. I don't know if I've said it on the show, but I've told you several times. Las Vegas is my favorite place in the United States. It is my go-to.
Never been. I gotta get over there.
Open drink, whatever you call it, open container policy. You can walk around with your beers. You can drink all day. Do whatever the hell you want. They're pumping oxygen into the casinos so you can stay alive, stay awake. And I would only get about 4 hours of sleep whenever I was in Vegas, man. And I get up and I go right back to it. It's a wonderful place. Nothing but entertainment. And now that they have the Raiders there, it's awesome.
Damn, now you got me wanting to go. Even though I feel like dog shit right now. But we got to bounce back for this Eagles game, right? But all right. Love your pick. The 2 I have are not that. So let me just start out there. The one I'm going to go with, because I think it's going to be a better game, is the Rams and Cardinals.
Yeah,
2
that
3-0
was the one I was
teams
thinking
in
of.
the NFC West. How does Kyler and that offense look against that Rams defense? Can Stafford and McVay keep this up? I think from a production standpoint, from a game standpoint, that game is going to be the game of the week. I think it's going to be the best played game. Obviously, the other one that I have written down is what everyone's been talking about since the schedule came out and this week, and it's the return Tom Brady and the Bucs in Foxborough against Bill and the Patriots. I mean, the storyline leading into that is unbelievable. That video that Brady put out is awesome. But I just don't think it's going to be a close game. I think the Bucs are going to roll in there, and he's going to
Especially after
upset
that
Bill.
video.
Yeah.
Tom
Bill finds ways to come up big, and obviously he's going to have a chip on his shoulder tonight. But as my game of the week, my official game of the week, I'm rolling with the Cardinals in LA to take on the Rams. I think that game's going to be awesome to watch after the Eagles are over. So yeah, man, my predictions. The Rams were my preseason Super Bowl pick. I'm going with McVay and Stafford at home. I think it's going to be awesome. We're good, man. We're good.
Yeah, definitely good, Josh. Thanks for checking in, man. Also, just wanted to point out, Jason Thomas here, 80% Raiders ticket sales in LA today. So that's pretty crazy. It's going to be packed with Raiders fans there. Seems like Chargers always got the opposing. They're never playing home games, right? But the Rams and the Cardinals, man. It's a tough matchup. I guess the reason that I'm picking the Cardinals today in that matchup is just because I don't know when the Rams are going to lose if they don't lose today. I don't know. I guess they do play the Seahawks this Thursday, I believe, which that's another in-division game. They could lose any of those in-division games, but I guess, when I'm looking at a first loss, I'm just like, who better to beat them than a Kyler Murray team who has an explosive offense, has a plethora of weapons, so you can kind of stay away from Jalen Ramsey. I think they can move DeAndre Hopkins all over that offense. And Kyler Murray, at the end of the day, he can use his legs, right? That's one of the main things when you're going against Aaron Donald. If there's any team that can beat the Rams, I think the Cardinals can do it with that high-power offense. It's still hard for me to pick against the Rams, man. And I think that's why we both feel that they're number one in our power rankings. They're the number one Super Bowl contender right now. They have it on both sides. Matthew Stafford has unlocked this team, right? I think him and Sean McVay are just like, so happy to be together, right? Like, get golf out of there, get Detroit out of here, and let's come together. And it's just made for it's beautiful. It's beautiful football, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's all I can say about it.
Right,
but
and then you have that defense on the other side, and Cooper Kupp looks unreal, and they don't even have. Obviously, they lost Cam Akers preseason. Now Darrell Henderson's on pace to miss his second game or third game or whatever it is. So they don't even have like a number one running back. Like Sony Michel's back there leading the team in carries, and they're still just dominating on offense. But yeah, I'm going to go Rams win. Before we wrap up today's show, Scott, pigskin picks. We had a close one on Thursday night. We almost lost our first Thursday nighter, but thanks to Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they were able to kick a last-second field goal for the win. So
love Trevor Lawrence still, though, man. I do love his game. I like watching him play it.
Moved to 4-0 on Thursday night. As the season totals go, I am 9-1, and Scott, you are 8-2, I believe. I think that's how it plays out.
Yeah,
right now.
After Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get into let's go lock first. Who is your lock of the week?
My lock of the week. I got the Bills over Texans. It's a 17-point spread. And for a reason, right? You got Josh Allen versus Davis Mills. Josh Allen with 5 total TDs against the Washington football defense, who coming into the season was supposed to be this renowned defense in the NFL. Josh Allen torched them last week. It wasn't even close. The only thing I'm looking to on the Texans side, I have Brandon Cooks in one fantasy league. Is Brandon Cooks going to be able to continue what he's been doing this season? He's had over 18 points in all of his games this season. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But overall, I think the Bills are going to smoke the Texans. And we mentioned the Texans Panthers game. That one eventually got a little out of hand, but I think this one gets out of hand early. The Bills take care of business, and Josh Allen does his thing. 17-point spread, right?
Yeah. I'm with you. Maybe this is what I'll just do for the rest of the season. Since I got a 1-game lead, I'm just going to pick all of the same games that Scotty picks, and I can never lose my 1-game lead. But now, for real, I do have the Bills today. I don't know how you cannot. If you're in a survivor pool and you haven't picked the Bills yet, pick the Bills this week. Lock of the week, obviously. As far as my upset goes, they've burnt me week 1. They burnt you week 2.
Oh, wow.
But today, I think it's a win-win for the Eagles. I think Carson plays, and I think the Dolphins lose. Win-win for those first-round draft picks upcoming. I got the Colts over the Dolphins this week. No Tua, Jacoby Brissett. I know he battled the Raiders last week. You just said if the Rams can't lose this game, who are they going to lose to, right? Now, obviously, they're going to lose to someone, but when you're looking at it, who are they going to lose to if not the Cardinals for their first loss? Well, the Colts got to win at some point.
Yeah,
they have let's not lie. Has Carson looked good? No, right? They have a really good defense. They can run the football, and if we're being honest, they've had a really, really hard schedule. You start with the Seahawks and Russell Wilson, then you get the Rams, then you go on the road in the division against Tennessee. So they haven't had an easy schedule. They're still a good team. He just has to play better, not turn the ball over. No Tua for the Dolphins. I got the Colts today.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with you. You got to think I saw some rumors like the Jacoby Brissett revenge game for the Colts. Like what? Like you have to be a well-known quarterback for any type of revenge games. But I'm just looking at the Colts. They like you mentioned the Eagles' sake in this. The Colts need to win some games for us to stay in that rally for the first round pick from the Colts. Because if they continue to drop these games, if Carson Wentz continues to look like he looks, why wouldn't they just bench him? You know what I mean? In order to keep the first round pick. So I'm looking at certain things like that. We really need the Colts to get going here. They don't need to make the playoffs, whatever. Like you don't have to, but at least get some wins, stay competitive so that they don't just totally bail out and go and try to keep their first round pick from us. Because once you get later in the season, if you're in a losing record, you have no chance to catch up with the Titans. Why not just bench him so you can keep the first round pick?
That's going to happen.
Yeah, it will happen. So we definitely need them to beat the Dolphins today. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I think the Dolphins' defense is pretty good. But like you said, Carson Wentz just needs to play better than Jacoby Brissett. Is that too much to ask? I'll leave it at that. But my upset today, I'm trying to bounce back. It's a closer one than per se that one. But I'm going Seattle over the 49ers today. The 49ers are a 2.5-point spread last time I checked. Russell Wilson has been outstanding once again this season. He's kind of not getting talked about at all. 895 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Kind of just flying under the radar. He has that dynamic duo with Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. Exactly what you need to just bust open San Fran's defense. So I'm looking for those guys to get off today. And then I'm just looking at that QB controversy in San Fran, right? If they drop this game to Seattle, if Jimmy G looks bad, when do you start hearing that Trey Lance roar get louder, right? So that's something to keep an eye out for. But I do have the Seahawks over the Niners today as my upset.
I like it. I do like Seattle to win today as well. But hopefully I can keep that 1-game lead on you. Maybe build the lead a little bit, but I think I saw Jason appreciate the comment there, buddy. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in
commenting with us. Just so you're aware, we are here live every Sunday at 10 a.m. and we're also live Thursdays at 7 p.m. right here on Turf Talk on DSM Media. I think that is going to wrap up today's show. We had a little bit more to get to, but we'll save that for Thursday's show.
Yep.
The technical difficulties to start. Yes, sir, I got you. technical difficulties to start really pushed our timing back. But guys, that's going to wrap up today's edition of Turf Talk. Just some housekeeping things before we wrap up. We are brought to you by Manscaped here at DSM Media. So if you need some Manscaped products, head over to manscaped.com. Use our promo code DSM for 20% off and free shipping. Again, that's code DSM for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And merch. We also have merch available on tpublic.com. If you follow us on Twitter, go to our Twitter at DSM_media. Our link tree is in the bio. Click that. tpublic's right at top. We got some Faithful Fanatics merch, some Turf Talk merch, and some regular DSM Media merch. Mine was supposed to be delivered today, but it's not. So can't sport it yet, Scott, but we'll get to it soon. I think that's going to wrap up today's show. Actually, Scotty, I believe, has a little announcement as far as tomorrow is concerned.
Hell yeah! Thank you for plugging me, man. I would have certainly forgot. Scotty Talks NBA does return tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will have a special guest, El Parcero Philly. You guys may know him. He's really big on TikTok. Has over 10K followers on TikTok. Also really big in the Instagram and Twitter world. Big Philly sports guy. But we're going to cover the whole NBA tomorrow. We're going to get into a lot of things. First of all, being the preseason power rankings, we'll get into our top 10 teams in each conference. We'll actually point out, the 8 teams we think will actually make the playoffs versus the 2 extra play-in teams for each conference. And then we'll get into top 5 players at each position with a little touch on the Ben Simmons topic. It's like beating a dead horse at this point. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but we will get into that, as well as just simply how can Joel Embiid get better this season after an MVP caliber season last year. So a lot to get into tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Scotty Talks NBA. Happy to be, blossoming into season 2. It's very exciting for me.
Yes, sir. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much for everyone that tuned in and everyone that commented. Have an exciting and fun and relaxing Sunday of week 4. And just go watch football and sit on your couch for about 12 hours, just because that's what I'm about to do. For myself, for Scotty, for DSM Media, have a great day.